Hello children, welcome back to your 7th standard mathematics class. We are doing direct proportion and inverse proportion. Today let's learn about inverse proportion. In the previous class we studied that proportion is used to show how quantities and amounts are related to each other. We also studied about direct proportion. Today let's learn about inverse proportion. Inverse proportion occurs when one value increases and the other decreases. For example, more workers on a job would reduce the time to complete the task. That means if more workers are there, the time required to complete the task is less. So here the number of workers and the time required are inversely proportional. In an inverse proportion, the product of the two quantities will be a constant. In this case, the product of number of workers and the time required will be a constant. Let's see another example. 15 workers take 8 hours to build a wall. How many hours will 12 workers need to build the same wall? So here we see that the number of workers have reduced. That means you will need more time to complete the task. As the number of workers decreases, the number of hours increases. Therefore, the number of workers and the number of hours are in inverse proportion. Let's see another example. Students of a certain school went for a picnic to a farm by bus. Here are some of their experiences. Say whether the quantities in each are in direct or in inverse proportion. The first, the number of students and the money collected are in dash proportion. Here, when the number of students increases, the money collected also increases. So what kind of proportion is this? Yes, it is a direct proportion. The sweet shop near the school gave some laddus for the picnic. In this case, when the number of students increases, the number of laddus that each one gets will decrease. So here the relation between the two quantities will be in inverse proportion. What is the relation between the speed of the bus and the time it takes? If the speed is more, then the time taken will be less. And if the speed is less, the time taken will be more. So what kind of a relation is this? Yes, the relation between speed and time will be in inverse proportion. Let's take practice at 38. The first question. 5 workers take 12 days to weed a field. How many days would 6 workers take? How many would 15 take? There are two parts to this question. The first one is you want to find out how many days 6 workers would take and also how many would 15 workers take. Now here, as the number of workers changes, the number of days required also changes. When there are more workers, you will require less number of days, and when there are less workers, you will require more days. So what kind of a proportion is this? Yes, this is an inverse proportion. So first let us assume that the number of days required be x. So this is an example of inverse proportion. Therefore, the product of the number of workers and the number of days taken to complete the work remains a constant. Now let's assume that 6 workers take x days. So what can we write? Therefore 6 multiplied by x is equal to 5 multiplied by 12. Therefore x is equal to 5 multiplied by 12 by 6. So we get x is equal to 60 divided by 6. Therefore x is equal to 10. What does this mean? This means that 6 workers would take 10 days to complete the work. So the answer to the first part of the question is 6 workers would take 10 days to complete the work. Now the second part of the question is how many days would 15 workers take. So we can write 15 multiplied by x is equal to 5 multiplied by 12. So we have x is equal to 5 multiplied by 12 divided by 15. Therefore, we have x is equal to 4. That is, if 15 workers are employed, you will require 4 days to complete the work. So the answer to the second question is 15 workers would take 4 days to complete the work. Let's see the second question. Mohan Rao took 10 days to finish a book, reading 40 pages every day. How many pages must he read in a day to finish it in 8 days? So if he reads more pages in a day, he will require less number of days. That is, this is an example of inverse proportion. Here the number of days have come down from 10 days to 8 days. So since the number of days have come down, he will have to read more number of pages in a day. Let's assume that he must read X pages in a day to finish the book in 8 days. So the solution is pages read per day and the number of days to complete the book are in inverse proportion. Let's assume that the number of pages read in 8 days be X. As this is an example of inverse proportion, the number of pages read per day and the number of days required to complete the book is a constant. Therefore, 8 multiplied by X is equal to 10 multiplied by 40. X is equal to 10 multiplied by 40 divided by 8. We can reduce 8 and 4, 40. 8 one time and 8 5 times. Therefore, X is equal to 50. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that Mohan Rao should read 50 pages per day if he wants to finish reading the book in 8 days. So your answer is Mohan Rao must read 50 pages in a day to complete the book in 8 days. The third question. Mary cycles at 60 kilometers per hour. How long will she take to reach her aunt's house, which is 12 kilometers away? If she cycles at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour, how long would she take? Again, this question has two parts. Mary is going to her aunt's house, which is 12 kilometers away. In the first part, we have to calculate the time taken by her to reach her aunt's house if she is traveling at 6 kilometers per hour. In the second part, we have to calculate the time taken if she is traveling at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour. Again, this is an example of inverse proportion, because if the speed increases, the time taken will reduce, and if the speed decreases, the time taken will increase. So the solution is speed and time taken to cover the distance are in inverse proportion. Now let the time taken be x hours. Now we know the relation between speed, time and distance. We know that speed is equal to distance upon time. From that we get speed multiplied by time is equal to distance. Here the distance covered is 12 kilometers, which is a constant. So in the first case, she is traveling at a speed of 6 kilometers. So let us calculate the time. So in the first case, the speed is 6 kilometers per hour. Substituting that in this formula, we get 6 multiplied by x is equal to 12, or x is equal to 12 upon 6, that is x is equal to 2. That means if she is traveling at a speed of 6 kilometers per hour, she will take 2 hours to reach her aunt's house. So in this case, Mary will take 2 hours to reach her aunt's house. Now let us see if she is cycling at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour, how long she will take. Now in the second case, she is traveling at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour. So we have 4 multiplied by x is equal to 12, that is x is equal to 3. That means Mary will take 3 hours to reach her aunt's house if she is traveling at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour.
Please solve all the questions of practice set number 38 as homework. Thank you and have a nice day.